I just wanted to do a video based on the volume profiles trading strategy. Going off of last week's trading action. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over last week's PA. You can see on this chart currently I have the Friday's volume profiles ready for Monday the 2nd, and I have the previous week volume profiles drawn out as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come at this with a approach of something like this. So we're gonna pretend we're starting from zero. Okay, so we're gonna invest $99 into an Alpha Futures zero account. Okay, so as you can see here, everything's times five. But to keep it simple, one account costs $99. The profit target is 3,000. Okay, so we're gonna risk 1,000 to make free on the first trade. Okay, if we lose, we'll be minus 1K. We then can't take another trade on that account. Okay, so we can pretend that we've got another account, and what we'll do is we're going to go through and work out if we trade one account at a time, how many we can pass. Once we start passing them, we'll make a note of this running totals. And then once we get to the lives, we'll trade the lives as if they're linked together. This is how I approach it in real time. So this is how I'm going to do it on the backtesting. Okay. So this is where we're going to sort of be more focused on. But to start off, we're going to run it as if, because we need to pretend that we're actually making the accounts to see if we can actually get the 1 to 2R to pass. So we're going to run it as if we've passed a few. Once we start passing a few, we'll round them up and act as if we've got five, basically. Once we onto the live version of it, what we're going to do is trade for a 1.5R. The reason I've gone for this number is because of the testing that I have done previously and my live data at 1.5R, I see trades mainly turn on me, or they sort of just go against what I'm trying to reach, and I end up over trading, or I end up trying to get back to the number that I've seen on the screen. So for the sake of my psychology regarding this strategy, I'm going to base everything off 1.5R. What I will do is keep a running note if the trade does run to, say, 5R, and I could have run the trade to that level. I'll keep a note of that in my journal on my spreadsheet. Okay, and then obviously on your live you get 2,000 worth of drawdown, and obviously we're going to risk $300 per trade, 1.5R max, so that'll be $450 back per win. We're going to aim for 5 winning days, as most of the accounts you need to do this. We need $200 plus, which will be targeted there. Now, Alpha Capital does have a 40% consistency rule, which we can keep an eye on here. Once we actually get to that point, we can check all this out once we've completed the data for the prior week, which will be the week of Monday, the 2nd of February 2026, which was last week. We're now on Saturday, the 7th, when I'm doing this testing. Okay, so without any more rambling on, we're going to just continue to start looking at the charts. Okay, so we have our levels drawn out, and we're going to just start printing price forward to see if we can actually potentially take any trades on this Monday. The first trade will, like I said, be as if we're trading on a eval. So we're going to aim to hit a 1 to 2R in our first trade, which would then put us as a passed account, and then we can trade going forward. Okay. So London prints out. We didn't get anything. As you can see, the next day's volume profiles are drawn on because I have them there from my live trading, so there's no need to delete them. Just makes it easier going back and faster. I'm only going to be trading London and New York AM session, and I'm not going to be using the cross asset pairs, so like ES or anything like that. I'm just going to trade based on what I see on NQ. That may actually become a problem if we get near levels. Okay, so it's probably just gonna have to delete that for now. Anyways, so we're in New York AM session now. Okay, so we come up to what we've had open here, and we've gone straight through the previous week's value area low and the previous day. So for me, this is showing bullish PA. So I'm not going to be looking to take any shorts here. I may look to take a long if we break above this level. So now we can start to print price forward manually. Okay, so that's not convincing to me, and neither is that. Okay, so for me now, I'm going to take a trade here. Okay, and I'm going to put my stops a little bit below this, I would say. Just depends on if we can get the 2R. Okay, so that's basically 2R there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that trade exactly like that and see if we actually hit the first trade as a win. Okay, we retag that level as well, which is really good. Price moves really fast forward. Now, what I wanted to do, obviously, in the evals, like I said, is once we hit 1.5R, we're going to pretend that we're going to go break even. Just because I said at 1.5R, I normally see reactions. So we would be going break even here, but we're very close to passing. Okay, so first trade we would have taken at the start of the week, and we would have passed 5 accounts. Okay, so straight away we can note that down. If we jump onto my backtesting spreadsheet, okay, we can go on to, we had New York. It was a New York trade at 9:48 a.m. 9:48 a.m. Obviously, we're trading NQ only. We went long. It was a win. We hit a 2R. Okay. Let's put what we need to do is actually just quickly add 2R in here. So there we go, 2R. And so that's one winning trade straight away. Okay, so what I want to put in my notes, let's add this and change this to notes because we don't need a Discord link for backtesting stuff. What I want to add here on my comments, first trade taken, 5 times alpha zeros, and we would have passed all 5. Passed 3,000 profit target reached. Okay, so that would be cost of 395. No, $495. Okay, because they're $99 each. So that's where we'd be at spent wise. Okay, we've passed, so now we can note down that we're going live also. Okay, so our next trades would be based on risking 300 to make 450. Okay, so we can have this here. We don't need to delete it. It's a nice trade, 1 to 2R. What I need to note down there is I don't really need to do it for that. Obviously, we're going to have this video as well. So obviously, we will be getting our live accounts. Realistically, I wouldn't be trading it going forward. Obviously, I don't even think you'd get the account that fast. But for the sake of backtesting sake, we're going to take the next trade, obviously, if it becomes available. Okay, so we're at the previous week's point of control here, and we've ran through it. Okay, continuing to the upside, bullish momentum, and we're still within time zone. So we're going to take. Now we're going to keep it realistic. What we're going to do is we're going to tape read this trade as if we would take it if it comes back down here. Or what I'm going to do is take off that fair value gap there, put my stops down here, and we're going to just tape read these. I genuinely ain't sure on the results of it, so forgive me if it runs through it or if it goes straight up. I genuinely don't know what happens. But yeah, we're going to just pretend to tape read until Tuesday now because it would be realistic that you wouldn't be trading the day that you just passed anyways. So let's see how this trade plays out. Price runs through the level and takes us through 1 loss. Okay, so we can note that down. 1021. We can actually highlight. Just highlight that. I don't even know if that was actually quicker to do or actually slower, to be honest. So probably won't do that again. Yeah, so we've got obviously 1021. We went long still. It was a loss, minus 1%. Okay. Let's note down. Read. Let's put eval there. Just so that we know going into this sort of trading day here when we have it on the 3rd. Let's say, for instance, we only get 1 more trade, but let's say here lives. Okay, so that's how we can do this. Right, so yeah, we can continue to look for trades because it's still within the times. Obviously, I would still be looking to take longs at this point. We got done a little bit here. We've gone through. Maybe we'd look for a retest now. If it comes down like that, we potentially enter again. Now, if that did obviously take us out again for another loss below this low, we will call it a day on this day anyways, as if we would in real life. 2 losses and we're off no matter what happens. We will still gather the data. We will write tape reading next to it. But if we do take 2 losses on the live account now, then we won't be trading anymore. The same goes for the tape reading. So we took 2 losses. We're not going to take any more trades, but we will note down if there is any movements off the levels. Okay, so that would have been 2 losses. Another loss at 10.41. Okay, 10.41. Long NQ, loss -1. Tape read. Okay, so that would be me done now for that trading session. Okay, we can look to see how price does react for knowledge sake. So the previous day's value area high here. We had an engulfing candle, so technically, you're valid again to take the trade. This could just be some consolidation and chop. So what we'll do is we'd say we'd enter there. We'll put our stops below this level here just to give it a bit of room. We don't want to be too tight under there, and that's the closest swing point. And again, we will just continue to target 1.5R. Now, the difference between this trade compared to these is we was here above this previous week's point of control. Now we're bouncing off the previous day's high, value area high, but we could see resistance at this level. So let's see how it reacts. Okay, price continues to go down, runs through it, and then takes us out. Okay, so that would be another loss. I'm not going to journal this loss because, like I said, this is not what I'm considering a tape read. This is just genuinely for knowledge sake at this point. And now I would consider us bearish as well. So going into these next candles, let's see. Okay, so we get another tap of this level here. Inside a fair value gap. So you potentially could have taken this. We'd have put the stops below here or above here even. And again, we're just going to target 1.5R. This is now all for the video's sake and just for, in general, how the levels react. We are bearish. Price hasn't respected this level to the upside. We've broken away from this previous week's point of control and started to create bearish market structure. Okay, so short is valid. And we would have took another loss. Okay, so this is what I mean about the stopping at 2, because look at what you'd have done. You'd have been running yourself into deep drawdown. Okay, now this was still valid. Okay, it was still within time when you're entering. We're still not up to 12 p.m. New York lunch at this point. Again, for the video's sake, these 2 losses we wouldn't be counting in my journal, but we're going to just keep looking at how the levels react. Okay, not looking to trade there. Price is lingering now around the level. We're coming up to that New York lunch. If we broke below here again, I would potentially look for a trade. Okay, and now we're at lunch. Okay, so these 2, they won't be journaled because I wouldn't be taking them. So I'm only going to journal what I would take. These are genuinely for the video. And I took 2 losses on tape reading because we wouldn't have had our live credentials yet to trade. We did take one really banger of a trade that would have passed 5 live accounts. Okay, so we can leave them on. And what we can do now is we can print price forward into the next day because we don't actually need to linger around. It's going to take a little while to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flick price forward. That is not what we wanted to do. We want to pull that back. Okay, and then we need to get up our previous day's levels again. The video may end up a little bit long-winded, but to be honest, I'm pretty much doing this for myself, so I'm not too bothered. But yeah, ideally it's still nice and short and sweet to keep it easy to watch when I do go back over the data, when I do want to look at this video again myself. So yeah, we're going to pull up the new day levels. Let's whack these up here. It's our new previous day's point of control. We got our new previous day's value area low. And we've got our, where's our previous day's value area high? Here it is. Okay, so we have them levels drawn on now. And we are currently about to go into the London session on Tuesday the 3rd. Okay, so let's give ourselves a bit of breathing room here, just so keep it nice and tidy. Okay, and we will put lives here because I feel like that's a good little side note. And we're on the 3rd. We're going into London, and what I'm going to do is with the lives, if I get one win, I'm going to be done. Okay, so because that's why we're doing real life. If I get one win in the session, I'll be done. If I take one loss, I'll try and get one win, and then I'll be done. Okay, so basically the max trades will be 2. Again, I will take read, and yeah, we'll go from there. It'll be easy enough to see once I'm doing it. So we start printing price forward in London session on Tuesday the 3rd. Let's see if we get anywhere near any levels. So these are the 2 most prominent levels that we're close to. Price is looking bearish at this point. London session's finished now though, so there'll be no trades for me at this point until we get to 7 a.m., which is the start of the New York session. Okay, so price has now come into the New York session, and we've had bearish PA throughout London. I mean, it wasn't great bearish PA, but it's bearish enough. We're still creating new lows. Okay, so looking here, this is a little bit consolidation on the level. We've respected it, gone through and disrespected it here. I mean, potentially would have maybe took a short here, but that would be very, very aggressive considering we've only tapped it once, and it's this very, very start of New York. So not gonna. I probably wouldn't even have been on in time for that. So it's not realistic to actually say I would take it. We're now starting to print up higher. And potentially now we're in bullish PA. Maybe we won't come back down to that level. If we do, I'll most likely look to try and long off that. Let's delete that because that's the. Actually, if I just don't delete that, if I hide that for now, just hide that for now. So what I can do is unhide that at a later date when I need it. Well, I think you can. Don't even know if you can, to be honest. What I'll do is I'll only make that visible on the 3-minute, so that when I'm on the 1, it doesn't show up. Okay, so yeah, so we're going to look for a trade off this previous day's high if we can. Okay, we're going to get to New York Open in a second, 9:30. Okay, price tags that level really nicely inside this fair value gap. Okay, we've got Open coming in a second, but let's see how it reacts. Right at this moment in time, I'd be looking if we was going to go long for a close above this fair value gap, okay, which would then close above these highs as well. I do like this wick. The open's going to happen very soon. Okay, so we open. So let's see if we break above these highs, I'll probably look to take a long position off this trade. But that does not happen. We absolutely obliterate to the downside. Okay, so let's see what happens at open. Oh wow, we continue to short. There's no way I'd be looking to trade any long at this point. I'd most likely be looking to try and take a short, to be honest. We have a lot of aggressive price action. I'd most likely, because I've got to be realistic, I'd be on the charts. I'd most likely be looking to short this. Okay, we're covering at least 2 levels. I don't see why it would want to stop at this point. I know that we got that previous day's value area low there, but with the aggressive big candles to the downside, I'd look to most likely take this. Okay, so I'm going to take it. If we get tagged in, obviously that is. And price runs without me. Okay, slightly, but it did not tag me in. Okay, now at this point in time, coming into the 10 a.m. open, or 10 a.m. Candle, I'll probably look for a retest of this previous day's value area low. And if we did have that, I would also be taking that. And again, I most likely would put my stops there just because of how really strong these candles have been. My 1.5R happens to be right at that swing low there, which is perfect. So let's see if we were to get tagged into this trade. We do not, and we continue lower. Okay, so now this trade definitely ran without me. That would be 2 trades we didn't get to take. I would not be looking to long off that based on the fact that we've been bearish as well, very, very bearish. So I'll be looking to short if we break below this level. Not like that though. We need to see a proper break below. Yeah, so now a retest of this level, I would now look to trade. I'd most likely take it from around about here, realistically. My stops would be there. And I would target, again, 1.5R. So there's still no trades taken on my live at this moment in time, just because 2 trades didn't actually get me into the trade. Tags me in. And we would have got a nice winning trade. Okay, so price did try and come up. Again, it still didn't break that high, so it was still valid. Yes, the level didn't work perfectly, but the bearish PA continued. Okay, and then obviously once it did react from here, we really were bearish, which is what we expected. So a nice 1.5R winning trade. We took that at 10:16 a.m. on the 3rd. So there was no trade there. 10:16 a.m. on the 3rd. We shorted. It was a win. It was on a live, so it's 1.5R. So what we're going to do in here is we're going to put 300 risk, 450 returns, and that would move us up to $450 in profit, and we'd be doing that by 5 accounts. So that'd be very, very nice at this point in time. Now, all we'd need is 4 more winning trades to take a payout. Okay, so 1 win. Now, any trade from here on out would be via tape reading because, like I said, I'm not trading. I'm not going to be trading the live account as if it was like real life. I wouldn't be trading it. Okay, so would I look to short again here? Probably not, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. Just I know it would retag inside of a fair value gap. Okay, but I just wouldn't be looking to retake the trade. It just doesn't make sense to do that, to be honest with you. But for tape reading sake, we'll put it on and see what happens. And we can see, obviously, we've had this nice run and now we're sort of consolidating as well. So that gives me even more reason why I wouldn't want to take that big push into the level. And there you go. That's why I wouldn't. So wouldn't take that trade there. Put that there. Keep it nice and clean. However, we can see now what happens at the level. Okay. Price is lingering. And most likely the moves for this session are done. Okay, we're coming up to lunch. We're still within that range, and now we're at lunch. Okay, so we took 1 trade on this day, and that would be a win. Okay, this tape read trade we wouldn't have taken, like I said, but it would have lost. So yeah, on to the next day. What we can do now is push price forward. Where are we at? Let's get that Asia session. There we go. So now if we go on to the 3 minute, This is the previous day's levels. We can make that visible on all again. And then we can pull our levels into position. What's TradingView doing? Having a little freeze moment. This is annoying. Oh, there we go. TradingView decided to spaz out for a minute. Yeah, so we're on Wednesday the 4th now. And I need to put the levels into position. Okay, I don't know what's going on with the actual. There we go. What is going on with TradingView right now? Okay, so let's put the levels into their correct place. Previous day's value area lows down here. Previous day's value area highs here. And then we can skip to current price, which is the start of London. We're smack bang in between two levels, so let's see what happens. There most likely won't be anything in London. Again, I don't know what's going on with TradingView. Everything's taking its time. What is it doing? Oh my god, what's going on? We may have to skip this manually if it keeps doing that. That's not great. Oh no, we could refresh, but I think it may mess it up. Yeah, it's not going to be in replay mode, is it? No, we're going to have to just skip through. That's not really my fault. Can't do anything about it. We're on Wednesday the 4th. Literally nothing I could have done there. Let's get back to, let's just go to there, because so we don't really see too much going forward. There we go, sorted itself out now, so that's good. So again, like I said, oh no, it didn't actually save even moving them levels. Oh, that's because we're on the wrong day. That's not great. Wednesday the 4th, London session. Okay, let's again make that only visible. Let's make these visible only on this time frame for now. That's really frustrating for the video, to be honest, but it is what it is. It's too long. I'm too into the video now to change it. Okay, so let's see what happens with the PA. Again, we'd be taking trades on a live, so we're going to take them as if we would be trading real live money with actual caution and actual proper A+ setups. Okay, so London's printing. We've come towards that previous day's value area low. We was bearish, okay, printing towards the downside. We had this little consolidation patch and then come through down and gone through the level quite aggressively, okay. So what I'll be looking for at this point is to continue to the downside. This nice push off of having this nice push is giving me bearish bias, okay. So I'm going to see what happens on the next few candles. Okay, you potentially could have took that. I wouldn't. I probably would have waited for a fair value gap, so I still will wait for a fair value gap. Unless this next candle here would print down quite hard, then I might take the trade on market order. And that will still be valid. I will still do that regarding these lows getting broke, okay. So what did I do here? When I didn't take this trade at this low, I prevented sitting through all this. And the reason I've done that is because I would like to have seen a fair value gap open and then take it off of that or off the level. But I need to have somewhere to put my stop as well. Up here would have probably been too far away from the level, meaning I would be looking for quite a lot of points to actually get to 1.5R. So potentially we're going to get a better trade if it does want to do that. And it does want to go lower. Okay. Don't like that. I wouldn't be looking at that to short at this point. Lingering around this level really, really hard. Okay, now we have pushed back to the upside. This is a really nice aggressive push to the upside, but we're just about to end London, so I wouldn't take it, okay? So what we're going to do is push price forward and see where we're at when we get to that New York session. Okay, price really did linger around that level. It failed to go lower. We're into New York now. We're just about to start New York. Okay, and we're sort of back where we started London. So let's see what happens. Now, what I can see here is we sort of started London at this level, and we sort of started New York at this level, which is something that I didn't really notice in live time, but something I'm going to note down. And what we did was we had this little bit of a linger and then broke lower really aggressively. We did the same thing here. Okay, now we're creating bearish market structure again. And again, this level really, really held well last time. So if we could break below this, especially below this low here, I would look for a retest and then to continue to push lower, especially if this nice bearish market structure continues. Okay, so I'm going to keep pushing price forward. Okay, so we're starting to get ready, looking like we may get a trade here. Okay, so again, nice reactions down lower. We got a fair value gap here, which I may look to take a trade off. I want to see how it reacts here, because previously, as you've seen during London, we was not able to go lower. Okay, so I want to see this low broke really. Okay, see, price is respecting that level again, and it really is respecting this level. So again, right now, I'm not going to no bias. I would like to go short based on the trend. If we do get a significant push higher, I will look to trade higher. Okay. But ideally, at this point in time, I would like to see these lows down here in London get ran and show momentum to the downside. Still, we're still creating bearish market structure. So I want to see price go lower ideally, but we'll see what happens. We get market open at 8:30, I believe that was roundabout. It's really respecting this level. Okay, so that's a nice push. Okay, so see this here. This candle significantly looks different. Okay, we've got a nice move off the level. It's within a fair value gap. So for me, I would now look to trade here. Okay, I know it hasn't. I'll put it just above here just to give it that extra point. It's not really much of a big deal. It hasn't gone below this low yet, but that nice bearish move gives me confidence that we may be ready to take the short. Okay, so let's see what happens. Price does continue to run. Are we going to get a potential short, or is price not going to retest the level? Okay, price comes back up, retests the level, and sinks. Wow, Jesus Christ. Yeah, market open. Okay, so perfect. Seeing that actually just reminds me that I actually got that trade in real time as well, which is really good to see that even on my back testing, I'm taking the same trades. Obviously, looking back at that, I had a lot more detail in that 5 minutes of explanation there, and that would be a really, really good setup. We've seen that price reacted off this level really well to the upside previously at the end of London. We had the bearish move. Price respected the level again. Once we see this candle here, this candle at 8:45 was what gave me the instigation was going lower. Okay, price comes down. We didn't panic. We waited for a retest at the level. Price retests the level just before open and absolutely sells off perfectly at New York Open. Okay, so again, perfect trade. Our entry would have been at 9:27. What date are we on now? On the 4th, I believe. Yeah, Wednesday the 4th. So again, we need to delete these out of the way because we took one live trade. Let's put Wednesday the 4th, New York session. Shorted, it was a win, 1.5. And the time of the trade would have been 9:27. 9:27 a.m. Okay, this is New York time. This was on the live as well. And again, we can just add $450 profit. Okay, so we're now 2 wins. If we jump onto here, we could actually just keep a running total here because it will be actually a lot easier. Because this is what it would look like on your live accounts. This is what it does look like on a live account. Let's just get a few of them up. So at the moment, our largest day would be 50% of our total profit. So potentially, if we hit another trade there, then you can just look to take 200, and I believe 200, and you could request a payout. Okay, yes. So at the moment, it's looking good. we need to get 3 more winning trades. 1 more winning trade at this amount, and then we'll take 2 at 200, or we'll move or take profits to that level. And then we can potentially take a payout. Okay, so this would be me done for the day based on that candle absolutely obliterating to the downside. There's no more levels lower. Again, and I would not be interested in taking anything off that level again like that. That's not for me. Price does respect it and go lower again. Could have potentially taken a trade, but again, like I said, we would be done. The only thing is you could say there was a tape read, but for me, like I said, we got the initial trade, the better trade. Unless you was being a little bit more cautious and didn't want to trade the open, you could take the same trade, but based on it obviously being not on New York Open, but it'd be the exact same trade, so there's no point. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is actually skip forward to the next day because there's no point. I wouldn't be taking anything more on that day there. Let's skip to where it says Asia. So then we know we're at the London time. Okay. And we need to jump down to the 3-minute time frame and throw our levels on and below. Let's go to the 1 minute. Get that nice accuracy that we need. And we just want to pull the levels to the correct positions. So far we've been quite accurate, and what we need to do going forward in my actual live trading is be as detailed as I've been on this back testing, because you can become really caught up in the numbers and looking at the numbers float up and down, fluctuating thousands and 4 figures on multiple accounts, and it can actually really doom your mindset. So I need to be a bit more relaxed, as if I'm just back testing. That's why these sessions are really good. Okay, so coming into London, okay, there's going to be no real rush to trade London, but if the trade does come up, we will take it. Okay, so we have got nice bullish PA here. So we'll just see how price reacts off this previous day's point of control. We've only just started the session, so we've kind of broken through here. Potentially, you could take this. I'm not sure I would want to take it because it's just really, really aggressive. So I don't really know what happens. I'm going to just say this is a tape read. Okay, I may potentially miss out. I may not, but it is what it is. Price comes in, tags the level, and it would have been a loss. Okay, and now this is what I mean. I'm really not a big fan of taking it when price has just started. Okay, I noticed this a few times in my prior backtesting that you end up taking losses. However, if we do get to about 230 and price is starting to make more highs and starting to still produce that bullish market structure, then I may take a trade. Okay, but I will say if it's a live trade or if it would be a tape read. Okay, regarding this PA, I would not be taking anything anyways. Okay, so we're coming up to now. I wouldn't look to short here just purely because this is just a mess. Okay, we're still looking bullish. This just looks like it's just figuring itself out. There's no real move there for me at this point. Some big candles. Okay, big bearish candles at this point. See what I mean? That's just no. And I do believe I've missed something there, but I do believe I actually got caught up in this live as well. And again, hindsight is easy. I genuinely don't remember what happens, but looking back and back testing in a better environment, calm, not looking at the numbers, I didn't take anything. So lesson learned there, I guess, going forward. Now that we've had this little bit of a mess, we didn't really break the market structure to the upside. Well, we didn't really break the bullish PA. So there was no reason to take shorts. And that's something that I need to note down in my live journal of these trades, is that I should never have been looking to short here. Okay. So now that we've continued up, we could now potentially look for, and what I would look for is probably a trade off of this. Normally I'd put it here, but I'm going to start maybe giving a little bit more room to breathe. So potentially this. So this is, if this happens, I'm going to say this is my live trade. and then I will tape read what happens off this level down here as well if it does come back to it. So we tag into the 1 minute fair value gap and push higher, which is perfect. We come back to that level again. Still pushing higher. What happens? Linger around. Come down again. Now we tag the level. So let's see what happens at the level. This is my live trade. This is going to be a tape read off the actual level. Let's put the stop there. Okay, so if this does come in, it will be a tape read win, and this is my actual trade. Okay. So we've got stopped on the live and stopped on the tape read. Okay, so that's not ideal, but it's going to happen Thursday, the 5th of Feb during London, 3:10. Okay, so first loss, Thursday, the 5th of Feb, London, 3:10 a.m. We was going long. It was a loss. It was minus 1%. Yes, minus 1%. Just wanted to make sure that was actually working. Lives. I also want to note down that this one was at 3:36. 5th of Feb, London, 36 a.m. We longed. It would have been a loss. It would have been minus 1. Tape read. I want to just note on there. Tape reading the level. This was so that was just above the level. Okay, so we've got that. And then, so we would have took a loss there. So like I said, according to rules, I would only be taking one more trade here. So let's look at what happens. Now it started to break lower. Potentially you could then look to take a short off that level if it comes back to it. Price is lingering around. Price comes back to it. Would I want to short this? I mean, we've had the nice move. This is quite aggressive to the upside. I'm going to just tape read this because I'm not that confident in it. The only reason I'm not that confident in it is because I've took one loss and I want to be realistic. I'd most likely have wait for the New York session. So we're going to tape read this. Price tags the level. And it does come down and run. So a really nice trade. So we got 428. So still in the London session on the 5th. 4:28 a.m. We shorted. It would have been a win. And it would have been 1.5 R. We didn't make it a tape read trade, so no cheating. And I will note why I made it a tape read trade. After one loss, wanted to wait for a clear trade and a setup. Okay, and this is something I'm going to actually most likely do in live trading as well going forward, because I notice sometimes I end up messing up the account for the day in London and then I miss the nice trade in New York. So one trade per session, basically. If there is obviously a London trade, you only take one in New York if you lose. And if there's no trades in London, you could take 2 in New York. So yeah, nice winning tape read right there. Price doesn't actually respect the level much, but again, great stop loss placement above the swing point, showing that obviously if we did continue to run higher, it may have come back and continued up. So really nice trade. Good again, once again, it's really nice for the journal. And now London session is done, so we can look to get to 7 a.m. Again, price is respecting that level really nicely to the downside there. Something I need to do going into my live trading from now on as well is also looking at how we really trying to read how we react to the level. As you can see, we bounce around, we tried to push high, didn't. Then we come down, we bounce around. Well, not really bounce around, but we push lower, come up and then we go lower. This would have been a take read win. Again, we hit that same sort of level here, round about the previous day's point of control, where both buyers and sellers will be looking to enter trades. We react really aggressively again, exactly like this, go lower. So going into the start of this New York session, ideally, I'd most likely expect price to bounce off this level lower, because this is what's been happening. Okay, last 3 times we've been in and around it, it's done it. If I take a trade, again, stops will be up here, for the exact same reason I just explained. Price has bounced around and gone lower from this sort of range, as we can see, this and below. So I wouldn't want to see price go up above. It may come back down, but again, it'd be too far away from the previous day's point of control. So my next trade will be a live trade. So let's see. Okay, so we come down previous day's very area low, continue lower. This is really, really bearish PA. So let's see what happens. If we get a nice push, look for a retest. Okay, so now I'd be looking, this would be my ideal situation now, would be probably I will take a short off of that, probably give it to just above there. I wouldn't go to the swing point because it's just very, very tight. And I mean, I've made that mistake a few times and got done, so I want to just give it that little bit of extra room. Let's see if we come back up and retest. We do not. Okay, so that trade's gone in my eyes now. That's not a trade that I'm looking for. We don't have any levels below this, so that's sort of the only PA we can go for at this point. I wouldn't be looking to short off that level now because we're very far away, so to get up there is quite a lot of work. We are getting to the sort of New York Open coming up. We linger in as well, so it looks like PA may go higher. Like that. Okay, so why I was saying I wouldn't now look to take this short is because we reacted really, really bearish and went down, lingered, and now look how aggressive the buy side is looking. Okay, so I'd look to see how we react on that level now with a whole different outlook. Price does tag it and really send it lower. Wow. Wow, that was really clean. Yeah, that was really nice. But again, I wouldn't just be taking it off of that. It just doesn't, for me, there's no reason. That's just not enough to touch the level and go. But PA going lower, so seems as if we won't be getting a trade in the New York session. And again, once again, it's sort of lingering around this level. It's not going to give us anything now. It's too late in the day. And that's us at 12 o'clock. So the only potential trade there, obviously, we took a loss in London here. We took a take read loss and then a take read win. And then we didn't get an entry here. We didn't get a fill. And we did retest the level. Pretty much touched it, to be honest. I can't even lie. It's so, yeah, 0.25 off. And then sunk off. So there was no trade. So we did take 1 trade on the live and 2 take reads. Take read wise, we'd be up 0.5%. Normal trade wise, would be down 1% on the day there, which was Thursday. And then we're going into the last trading day of the week, which is the 6th. Why in the world would that be like that? Yeah, so we're on the 6th now. What we can do is push price forward. And this was Friday's PA, yesterday's price action. That we're going to trade now, see what happens. Price really did like to go bearish that day. Okay, let's get on to the 3 minutes so we can just put our levels. These are my levels that I've drawn out throughout the week, so yeah, it just makes it easier. And then let's get our levels in the correct place. I've noticed from doing this video that actually it is really handy to take a bit more time at the level, see how it reacts, see how we push away, and just give it that minute to actually see how the level is, and also to look at what it did previously. That's something I noticed. I've been doing it in person in real time with live trades, but again, I ain't gonna lie, the last week's price action. I've done well with this strategy, but this last week's price action, this week that I'm going over now, I made a lot of mistakes, which is funny because I haven't taken them again. So that's quite weird, but yeah, yeah, make mistakes, got to learn from it. That's why I do this back testing. So again, coming into London, I'm most likely not going to be trading the first, half an hour. It doesn't make any sense. If we're right near the level, you want to see how it reacts. We're coming in, we're literally at half an hour now, so that's ideal. And we're coming to the first test of the day's levels. Okay, so let's see what happens. Again, nothing significant. We're sort of bouncing around. At this point in time, I'd most likely look for a move higher. Okay, yeah, we had this move down. How have we reacted off that level previously? We respected it during Asia, okay, quite a lot, and then broke through it after pushing back. So for me, I would most likely look for a long, okay? I'm not really going to look for a short here. It doesn't make any sense based on just the PA and how it's looking at this point in time. It does short off, obviously, and then runs back up. And now in real time, I know I got caught in this because I took a short and I got done because I had a really tight stop loss, and I don't know where I took the short from, to be honest. I really don't. This is how I know I was taking silly trades. And yeah, I know I see this move because I hit over 1.5%, didn't close, and then got taken out for a loss. So yeah. So yeah, again, looking for a bullish trade here. Okay, so now we've pushed really aggressively to the upside. Now that's showing me that we've had some sort of sweep here, which we have. This was really nice, and you would expect price to tag in and continue lower if it's bearish. It has not done that, so going to the upside is the next move for me. How would I look then? I would look for a market structure shift or something. Okay, we've gone down. Now that engulfing candle, I would most likely have, I think I did take this. I don't remember though. Okay, so I would have took this trade, and I most likely would have gone with my stops below. Probably would have put my stops around about here. Okay, let's say 1.5 R. So what I would have done is, because this is how I would do it in real life, I would have moved my stops to just roughly where the 1.5 R target would be. So like that. Okay. And as you can see, price lingers that level again, takes us out. And this happened, and I remember it because it was yesterday, and then it runs. And this did happen in real time as well. I did get wicked out. Okay, so that would be one trade that I lost. Okay, price then lingers. Now price goes to that level again. People would look to have shorted. But again, for me, the price action was just to look bullish at this point. Now we get a nice move up again. I would look to take this trade probably here off the fair value gap there and this fair value gap there. I would put my stops below this swing low here. I'd most likely even put it here, to be honest, because if it's going to go there, it's most likely going to run that anyways. And again, just about get a 1.5 R here. Okay, if it does do what it needed to do. Doesn't tag me in. Now it does. Price comes to the level again, reacts really cleanly, and runs to the upside. So we would have took one loss and one win. Would have kind of been breaking the rules in terms of not taking two trades in London. And it kind of screw with the day a little bit because I actually do remember what happened. We're just having full clarity of me being realistic here. I didn't remember every day up until the Friday. Yesterday was Friday, so I did remember what happened. And plus, I know I got caught in this and I made this trade here. So yeah, idea was right this first time round. We got wigged out, market manipulation. It happens. Just move on. This trade was really, really clean. Again, we took it off this fair value gap. Price tagged in, lingered a little bit, comes back down, retests the level, and absolutely runs to TP. So we will mark this down as one loss and one win because I took them in real life, so they're worth noting down anyways. They were both in London, and I believe I did stop trading. So I actually don't know what happens in New York. We got entered on a trade at 3:54 a.m. during London. Actually, we haven't journaled that loss. 3:54 a.m. Why has everything moved to that side? Let's sort that out because that's really going to annoy me. Right, there we go. And that was a long. win 1.5R live. It was live there. We took a loss. We did in real life as well. So that's a bit, unfortunate. That was a loss. We took -1, +1 there. Again, we tried to long. Just a bit unfortunate. Price did give us the reason. We had this big push up. Again, it would have been hard. Where are you going to put your stops? There was no swing point. I did trade it like this. I just put my profit there and then brought it up to 1.5R. That's exactly what happened in real time. 316. And I want to keep these videos as clear as I can, because when I come back to these, I need to remember why I done what I done. Okay. If anyone does actually watch it to this point in the video, fair play to you. These are as realistic as I can make them, the back testing sessions. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy the video and it actually helps. So yeah, so we'd be up 0.5R at this point. Okay. That is the realistic trade. Okay. Again, I would be done at that point. Do you know what? I probably wouldn't be done. I'm going to be realistic. I'd be up 0.5R. I'd most likely take another trade. And I would definitely be looking to go long off of this level here. Okay, so if we retest this, I'm going to take a long. I'm just being realistic with it. At 0.5R profit, I would look to take another trade. The only problem with this is we don't have any wicks down here to put a stop loss on. So we're going to have to see what happens. I wouldn't have my stop there. There is no trade for me at this point because I just wouldn't know where to put my stop. I'd most likely look to see how it reacts off the level first, like that. And then I may take the trade. Probably we didn't get a market structure shift, so we'll be realistic. I'd probably have took this if I'm being honest. Just like I said, explaining and being realistic about things. What would have happened is I'd have been 0.5R up. I'd have been wanting to take a trade. That's near enough, a 1.5R trade there. Price is still bullish. We have a wick here just below the level. I would have took this trade off of that close there, 100%. So yeah, let's just see what happens. I actually don't even know what happens, to be honest. So price pushes up and continues. Okay, so it would have been a really nice trade. Actually, really, really nice. And yeah, so we didn't take this bounce down here into the level. Could have, but the reason I didn't, which is what I just explained, there was no wick to put my stops below here. So I waited to see how it reacted, and I was more than happy to potentially not take the trade. If I still wanted to take the trade to go higher, which is what I have done, we would have to react up anyways. So you're not missing the trade, you're just getting extra confirmation. Once we break above this high, we're very, very bullish here. We can just enter on the next candle. We did, it was 1.5R, okay? So we can mark that one down at 4:21, okay? 4:21 a.m. on the same session, London, and on the 6th. Okay, long. Okay, we're just following the trend, keeping it very, very basic. And do you know what? I'm very, very disappointed in my actual trading last week, because going back over this, however, I had such a good session backtesting when I watched these charts every day live, and I messed up. So it just goes to show the numbers and the live PA can actually really mess with you. And yeah, I would be done now. Obviously, we're coming to the end of London, so that would be me. Yeah, so London's finished. Now, I would be done for the week at this point, purely because it's Friday, and I'd be up 2% on the day as well. As you can see here, we'd actually be up 2%. Okay, so I would be done. I will go ahead and tape read New York session quickly, and then we can go over the numbers and see what position we'd be leaving ourselves in to go into the next week, which is actually going to be the current next week. And I'm going to just relay some notes for myself as well right at the end of the video, so that I can go back onto my YouTube and really tell myself this when I'm sitting in my sessions live. I really need to start holding myself accountable for what I'm doing and be more relaxed. Of course, you don't get the couple minutes to look at PA like this. It's a lot easier in hindsight to see things, but I wasn't really doing it in hindsight. I was still trying to make it as realistic as possible. But a couple rules that I 100% know that I've seen there that I need to start using is use the current trend. Okay, that's one. The next one that I seen is look left to see how price reacted off the level previously, because this is really important. which I've noticed now back testing it. I knew it was, but something that I probably neglected a little bit. And at the start of London or NY session, let it breathe. And what I mean by that is like I said here, you know, we had this PA here just at the start of London, okay, and you could be looking to short straight away because you've gone through the level, and then price comes straight back up at 230, and you're trying to short again, and you get that you would have got a win, okay, if 1.5R. I know that this ran because, like I said, did take a short in real life, but there's no rush. Honestly, there's no rush. And in this trade here, it was nice. It was a really clean A plus setup. It had an engulfing candle off the level, boom, boom, boom. It did take a loss, no problem. There was nowhere to take my stops below. What happened then is you have a little bit of lingering, same thing happens, price pushes, and then it runs really fast off the level, okay? So this is a great example of patience right here. This was not a bad setup, it took a loss. The only bad thing about it is there probably wasn't a great stop loss position. This trade here was really A plus. We knew we had somewhere nice to put our stops. We knew the level has held to the downside, even potentially here and here. So once we break through above these highs, we knew going long was really the right option. Okay. Obviously, we took a win, and then this trade here was exactly what we wanted to see. Price came back above, tagged down. We didn't take the entry here, which was real, in my eyes, smart, because we let price show that it was still bullish, closed back above this high here, took the entry on the new candle open, stops below again. We didn't have nowhere to put the stops. We waited this time, stops below the swing point. Oh, and then another 1.5R trade. So yeah, use the current trend. Look to the left to see how price reacted off the level. And at the start of the session, London or New York, let the session breathe a little bit first. Okay. So we don't want to rush to get in the first 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, whatever it might be. Give it half an hour, 15 minutes, half an hour to actually see if we're near a level, how that level reacts in that session. So yeah, going forward now, with that in mind, we're actually only 19 minutes in. So let's see how the level reacts. Okay. I didn't trade New York session yesterday live because like I said, I had a bit of a bad moment, so I just left it. So we're about half an hour in now. I would now say we're valid to trade. We're at the previous day's value area high. We have a fair value gap here, a swing point here. So if we do break lower, we could potentially take a short. Okay. Again, the reason I'm not keen to take it is because we haven't really shown any reason we want to go lower. We've been bullish. And then New York's just sort of opened and came down. It isn't really bearish market structure. So my ideal trade would be long still at this point. I also wouldn't be longing off this level right now. I'd wait until this high got broke to go long, or I'd wait until we potentially now come back below these lows to come back and retest. Okay. And again, it just patience now at this point. There would be my entry right there. Okay, so I would take this trade here. I would have 100% took it off that fair value gap, and I'm going to be realistic with it. I mean, aggressive stop. I would put there. I most likely would put it there, just because we've respected these fair value gaps and it's an inversion before. So if we did break above this high, or even if we wicked it, it may potentially still bounce off the level and go higher. So a smart stop loss is there, and this is what I need to start doing: is trading the smart stop loss and not the aggressive one. It's still not a massive move. We still got the previous day's point of control down here to target if it does respect this level now. And if it don't, it's going to go long, and you're wrong, no problem. So let's tape read this. This would be a tape read. Price respects it. Makes that, I was just about to say, makes a nice move lower. Doesn't look like it wants to go lower now. Right, so now we go long, and now it's had a really nice move long. Okay, so we've moved up aggressively through the level, tagged it, and gone long again. So now that shows me that shorts are not on the card. Okay, so I will journal this. I would probably look for a long, most likely off this level at this point, just here. And I would put my stops below here. And again, I would regard this more as an A an A setup or an A plus setup, just purely because we was bullish. The shorts were aggressive. This wasn't really major bearish PA. Yes, it was bearish, but not extravagant. Like this is really bullish. Okay, up until that point, obviously, but this again bullish. So the move away for me is showing that we look bullish again. The reason I haven't put my stops there is because it's literally on the level. This is giving it fair value gaps and FEGs and stuff to move off if it needs to. Again, taking it off the fair value gap. Okay. Let's see what happens. Wow, didn't get tagged in. Price tags in, tags off the level as well. This is really clean if we get another push higher now. Will we? We do not. We come back to the level again. Lingering. I don't like that when that happens. And we're going to get an open soon. Not a massive fan when price does that, to be honest. And we took a loss. Okay. So that would be another tape read loss. That's 2 losses there in New York. And I now would wait for a significant move because I genuinely ain't sure where the PA wants to go. We're at New York Open as well. Even that hasn't really given much, to be honest. Oh, now it has. Jesus. Right, okay, so now you'd look for a long, okay? Would I long there? It's quite a long way away from the level. I'd probably wait and see what happens, to be honest, because that's, yeah. I mean, like I said, normally, ideally, I'd take them off this 1 minute fair value gap, but there's just too much of it. The gap's massive. Let's see what happens. We come back down. I wouldn't be jumping to trade because it bounced off the level now. I'd wait and see if we get a push away from the level. Like if we break above these highs, I will look to go long. Not like that. It needs to break away. That's not a break. That's a sweep. Okay, and that's exactly why I wouldn't take that like that. Again, we're not breaking them highs. Now that I would consider as breaking the highs. This is not ideal. I'm not going to lie, but for tape reading's sake, I'm going to take it. I'm not sure if I even would take that in real life, to be honest, but for tape reading's sake, I am going to take it. Again, I don't know what happens, so very aggressive move down and back up. I like that reaction away. Let's see what happens. Don't like that. Okay, push up. Very, very nice move away now, eventually. Probably would be a break even now just purely because it's so close to the TP. And the trading session would nearly be, well, 100% would be a break even at this point because we're going into New York lunch. So it'd be break even and on a Friday. So let's see what happens. Does it actually hit? So the trade does hit. Okay, so I need to journal these 3 trades and then we're done. And what we can do is work out the profit and that we took. Okay, so we got the live trades, which we made 2R on in the end because we got 3R returned and 1 loss, 2 wins, 1 loss. Then we tape read from here. We took 1 loss, 2 losses, and 1 win. So we took 2 losses. Let's note the times down. 7:55, which is a New York session on the 6th. Again, lots of trades, but this is good because it's realistic. 7:50. Was it 7:55? Yep, 7:55 a.m. New York session. We took a short. It was a loss, and it was -1. We took a long actually, didn't we? And it was a loss, and it was -1. And we took a long, and it was a win, and it was plus 1.5. So we need to note down the time on that. Oh no, sorry, there were 2 longs. I'm lying. We got entered at 8:36. Oh no, I did put that right. 8:36. And then what was the next trade? We took a trade at, got tagged in really aggressively to the downside. Would have definitely been panicking. 10:23. Panicking off that entry because it was very aggressive. A good reaction away, to be honest. Again, both in New York. Obviously, both on the 6th. So we took live. Yeah, 3 trades on the live, 2 wins, and then tape read. We need to just copy that. Okay, and then yeah, so that's our final results. So what we need to do now is actually see how much we made. So we'd have been up a total of 4R if we took every single trade here. Okay, but what we didn't obviously do was take every trade. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades on the lives. Okay, so live we took 1.5, 1.5. That's 3 minus 1. That equals 2 minus 1. That equals 1, and then plus 3 equals 4. So we took 4% even on that as well, which is a bit ironic. Yeah, that's a bit mad. So what we can do now is put in our results here. Okay, so we got 4.5, 450, 450, and then minus 300. Okay, and then minus 300 because that's 2 losses in a row. Again, very realistic because this is what actually happens in real trading. This is real trading. I'm just going over the prior week. So we took 2 losses here, and then we took 2 wins back to back, which is really nice. We took 2 wins, 450, 450. Right, so we would bet the consistency rule would have been made, okay, but the problem there is we wouldn't have hit the trading days because we've taken a win on the 3rd, a win on the 4th. We made 0.5% on the 5th, and then 2% on the 6th. Okay, so we need to make a note of that. Let's delete this out. Extend that row down. Okay, so what we need to do is so let's just note that down again. So the 3rd, 1.5%. No, let's put in numbers. 450. 4th. Oh, that's annoying. What we have to do is do it like that. Right, so results by date. So the 3rd, we got 450. Then on the 4th, we got 450. The 5th, we made 0.5%, which would have been, what is 0.5%? So we'd have lost 300 and then made 450. I have to work that one out in a minute. I haven't quite got that in my head yet. And then on 6th, if we lost, all right, let me go back because I'm actually confusing myself. So we lost 300 and then we made 450. We made $150. Don't know why I was getting confused with that. And then on this day, we lost 300, and then made 6. So it was up 300. No, we didn't make 6. We made 9, and we lost 3. Yeah, so we were up 600 for the day there. So our biggest day then would actually be 600. So this would be changing because that's not trades, that's daily. So 600. So I messed up a little bit there. And then what would so we'd have made 600 on this day. Am I right on all that before I actually go ahead? So we lost 300, then made 450, 450, which is 9. Take away 3 is 6. Okay, here we made 150, and here we made 450, 450. So we're 450, 450, 150, and 600. Okay, so we haven't actually took a losing day. So I need to do. I accidentally made this by all trades. By accident. I needed to put these in. This is by winning days. 600. So actually, we would have then consistency would have been made as well. We haven't hit the 5 days yet. So we'd have been going into Monday just to hit 200 profit, and our total net profit would be 1.8k, which is actually unbelievable considering you can take, I believe, 50%. But yeah, so it would have been, if we did, let's say, hindsight, we hit a little $200 profit trade, we'd be up 1.8K on the account. Okay, so really, really cool. Really, really good to note this down. I will go away and obviously fill in a bit more details, but the video is already getting very, very long. So yeah, really happy with how it performed. The data's there as well, and yeah, I will update on how this looks next week on Monday.